I see. I mean, you guys have been here since a few hours, but yeah, I'll try to make it a little interesting. As she introduced, I represent PokerBaazi. We are a premium poker brand in India, and it's it's an interesting phase in our journey because this year we are completing 10 years, right? And when I got this opportunity that to talk about the sustainable growth, I thought that it would be best that to talk about the journey and what approach that we have taken in the last 10 years. For me personally, wearing both hats together, being the marketer and the co-founder, it helped me understand the holistic picture and not just treat pure play marketing as the liver of growth. Let's begin. This is in a nutshell where we are today. We have 40 lakh plus user base, ranked #1 in India and 8 globally. 100 crore plus poker hands dealt in these last 10 years. I would like to know from the audience, how many of you have played at least one poker hand in your life? Just raise your hands. Good, that's quite a lot of people here. But I see some of you haven't, so yeah, by the end of it, I hope you do. So what worked for us? To start with, understanding the customers from the beginning was something that has helped us in every single aspect of work that we do, right? And we were lucky enough to be in a place where we were the consumers ourselves. So our founding team were passionate poker players. And before we started this, we were already playing a lot of poker. So we understood that what is needed in a product for poker in India, how different we want to make a product, which is something different from what is available in the existing markets, right? Or internationally for that matter. And how can we add, let's say, make that experience maybe 20, 30, 40% better. So that was the initial thought, right? And over the period, we realized that, knowing customers in the truest sense is going to help you so much and drive you so much better ROI in whatever actions and whatever, projects you do or whatever marketing campaigns you do everywhere. So in our initial days, we realized that growing a brand will need connecting every experience dot for a user, right? And for us, before we could go into mainstream marketing or even product building, we realized that support is something that is a very key figure in, if you have to bind your customers together and maybe even help you grow. In our initial years, we built our softwares ourselves, right? And building a complex poker software is little tough, I would say. And if you ask the techies around you, they would say it's really complex, right? The available competition at that time had, the leverage of having international softwares working for them, and they were miles ahead in terms of the software experience, right? So, our software used to crash every single day, and it was really hectic and frustrating for our users. So it was at that time we realized that, hey, while we build our software, our product and get better at it, it's not going to be an overnight journey, right? It will take some time, a few months maybe. So we made sure that, all of us, including the founding team, we are there for our customers. We are there to pick on the calls, reply them on the emails, on social media. I myself have been a social media respondent, so to say, right, for a lot of weeks and months. So we made sure that our customers at every time felt that we are there for them, right? And that at that moment was such a big thing for them that, in a very nascent industry, it was pre-digitization, and it helped us not just bind our customers even with a inferior software experience, but also them spreading the word of mouth for us. Then, after, while doing that, while talking to our customers, staying close to them, we realized that, how important product is going to play a role in this entire journey, right? If whatever big campaigns we do, whatever right channels of marketing we pick, if the product is lacking that experience, it's not going to cut through, right? And more so because poker is a game where, it's a sport, it's a game where people on an average spend a lot of minutes every day. The average user playing time is probably around 2 hours, right? And that's huge. So if you are going to spend that amount of time on a product, on an app, it has to be, a good experience for you. And if there's any single drop of experience there, you're not going to stay back. So what we realize is that in that journey of product building, it's not just the gameplay, right? In the initial years, we thought so, and we thought that, hey, if we build a great product, they come on the game, everything is good, we are sorted. And we did that. And we realized that still, there is something missing. And again, being closer to the customers helped us understand that, the missing piece at that time was the off-table experience. So, the thing that I show you is a game table on our app, right? But there were a lot of touch points which were off this table, right? Say, for example, transaction. It's a real money gaming platform. So people come and deposit money, withdraw money. So there's banking transactions happening, right? And there was a gap in that experience too, right? And what we realize is that today, if we are building a poker product, people are not going to compare the experience with just the other poker products or the RMG, real money gaming brands, right? The comparison of experience will happen with any other app I'm sure almost all of you would use Zomatos and Swiggies of the world, right? So the comparison will be with every single other good app that's available on your phone, right? And all those, the kind of elements of experience that all those apps have and your app has in common will have to be matched to that experience level. So we did that, and by doing so, we realized that by the time we came up with a superior, upgrade of our platform, this was back in 2021, we had surpassed every other poker platform in the country. And by then, we were not really doing anything big in marketing. We were doing the standard performance marketing and the basic stuff that you do there, right? So when we did that and we realized, okay, then we've reached a stage where we have a stable product, people are loving it, now let's do something more. And before we could do, the good product experience had already led to that, and we could see the consumers, new consumers coming in, right? And we realized that, it's not just, it's now the right time that our product is at that level where it's attracting new consumers by its own. So whatever amount of marketing we now do, whatever big branding that we attempt, it's going to drive ROI for us now. If we had attempted that before, it would not probably have ended up giving us that kind of ROI. So when we thought of going into our next phase, we took a conscious call that, we have to go unconventional. It's a market which is cluttered with content. If you see, you wake up, I think the default app that you go to is Instagram probably. I think for the most of you, it would be that, right? Or Facebook, or maybe LinkedIn for some of you. It's a corporate crew, so maybe it's LinkedIn, right? But the moment you wake up, you start scrolling, and you won't even realize that how many impressions or brands you're coming across. So there's so much clutter out there, right? So in whatever marketing you do, you need to know that exactly what you want to show to your consumers. You already know that, okay, this is where they are, this is my target group, but what is the kind of messaging you would want to keep for them, right? So for us, we are poker and it's a real money gaming platform, right? Essentially what you see with any other real money gaming brand, be it fantasy or be it rummy or let's say Ludo or any other such game that you would have come across, you would have seen the communication being around, you sign up, you get this much bonus, or come win this much, XXX, this much lakh guaranteed in a tournament, right, or so. So it's money incentive that is being used as a source of attraction, right? While, money is attraction, but we figured that, for us, that was just getting into the rat race, right? So what we figured out by, again, talking to our consumers is that, there is some gap in understanding what poker is. It's essentially not just a game, it's a sport. And the Western worlds have seen it. It has a huge following outside, right? And that's the scope of it. And like any other sport, like let's say cricket or football, you have the levers of, learning, practicing it, analyzing the game, watching the game, and then playing the game, right? And all those elements of a sport are also available for poker. Globally, you see a lot of poker content being rolled out or streamed on YouTubes and other digital media. So we took a conscious call that if we have to go to the market, our campaigns should not just talk about money. So it was 2022 when we launched our first big brand campaign. We onboarded Shahid Kapoor as our brand ambassador. And we went live with our first campaign on poker, on mainstream television and digital media as well. And it did not speak even a word of money. And people used to come to us and say, hey, you're burning so much money, what's the point if it does not talk about money, right? But the kind of jump we saw throughout our funnel with that kind of campaign was phenomenal, right? And it was again a stamp to the fact that, if you figure out the right communication for you, what's the right need of the hour, I think it's going to cut you through the clutter. The second thing is how much to show, right? How many of you are from Delhi NCR? So a lot of you, right? So have you passed through the MG Road, Delhi MG Road, right? If you have, you would have seen PokerBaazi on metro stations, holding on some metro stations, right? Now what we have done there is that we have taken not one, not two, but 3 metro stations back to back, right? Sultanpur, then Gitorni, then Arjungarh. So this is a very common question that we, again, get asked so much often that, are you guys mad? You would have taken 1 metro station, but why 2, why 3, right? And it's an approach, again, that we have not just taken for outdoor advertising, but even in all the digital campaigns that we do or brand campaigns. We were advertising on IPL recently, right? So what we have figured with our experience is that, in today's world, again, it's not just being at the right place or going out with the right content or the right messaging. While that is important, but it's even more important to be sure of what is the kind of frequency that you have to be there with, right? What is the kind of impressions that you have to burn to create that impact, right? If you go with the standard conventional marketing approach, right? They will tell you that, hey, if you have, let's say, spent X amount of money on the production of a campaign, right? Or building a campaign, spend 10X on XYZ channels, and this is the standard mix of, the marketing media mix, right? I think that things have changed, and you have to pick channels for you, and you have to pick the right frequency for you, what category you are in. For us, it was not just brand building, but it was also category building. Poker is new in India, relatively newer, right? So we kept taking our conscious calls accordingly, and it was not honestly the first time that we hit the chord. We have heard, have had our experiences, bad experience too, but more than that, it was learnings for us. And when you combine both of these, you have a fair chance of cutting the clutter. Again, there is no guarantee of that, but it's your best chance, and I think that is something that everyone should attempt all the time. The other thing that we have done over the years is, giving attention to details, and that is something that in the recent times we have been more upfront with all our team members that, in the difference between good and great brands, most of the times is attention to detail. And this attention to detail is mostly around every single thing that you do, every single task that you do, right? Whether it's you're a copywriter or a designer, how you place your logos. In building a brand, it takes years of effort, and if you're missing that attention to detail, it's not going to drive results long-term for you. So, we stitched all of these, right? And on the data side, I would say that, more than what you should do, data is also sometimes good to tell you that what not to do, right? So before 2021, I think it was around the pandemic, we were doing a lot of restricted at homes, what to do. So we thought that, hey, this is going to be probably a good time to advertise more and get more users to play the game, right? I mean, everybody will have more time. So we went out to a lot of vendors and for, just digital acquisition. And we saw that, numbers are increasing. We are getting installs, we are getting signups, and we were happy, okay, things are working out. But then 1 month, 2 months down the lane, we started seeing, in depth into data and saw that, hey, the needle is somewhere not moving, right? So what's the missing piece? And we saw that a lot of these users who were coming, signing up, even depositing money, even after depositing money, they would not play even a single hand and just bounce off. We figured out, something is fishy here. So we went into data further and, went to the vendors to check what is happening. So figured out there are a couple of these Chinese apps where the vendors get your placements done, and they say that the app would say there are a list of tasks that if you, let's say, to me, Varun, if you download PokerBaazi app, we will pay you $200 in your, or $50 in your Paytm account, right? Straight up. And the vendor would charge me $500 for a deposit. So I think it's sort of a scam that was happening in a way. But we realized it little, I mean, it wasn't too late for us to realize that. But what helped us was data. So I tell this to every single marketer out there that, while data can also lead you to that analysis paralysis stuff that people keep talking about. So somewhere you have to keep a mix of data and your gut calls based on your experience. But to keep tracking that what not to do, I think data is a good support over there. In terms of even product journeys and messaging, we were very sure of, in depth, going into detail that, where our customer stands in their phase of their poker life journey, right? So we realized that when we go big on branding, when we launched our campaign with Shahid Kapoor, we saw a lot of, again, increased influx. And this time it was not even paid influx, right? It was organic influx. And we saw that, even some of that cohort also not playing even a single hand. Again, now I again went back to the board, right? And I said that, hey, what is happening? Is some sort of, incentive being given by my team, or what is happening there? So again, a lot of data crunching, but this time data wasn't helping much. So what we did, again, go back to the customers. So we made a lot of phone calls, spoke to the customers. They said, hey, you have been, you've took the effort and you've come organically. So what's the scene? Why are you not playing? So some of the answers were really, intriguing. Somebody said that, a lot of users actually said that, hey, we just saw your campaign with Shahid on TV and we love Shahid. And so he was saying PokerBaazi, so we just thought, okay, something will be good. So they just came to the app. So they have nothing to do with poker. They don't know what poker is. Is it even a card game or what, right? So when we understood that, we said that, it's not the same product journey, the same messaging that you can give to the consumers of that cohort. If somebody is not knowing poker at all, you cannot directly pitch the game to them or say that, hey, play this tournament, do this game. So our experienced teams went into detail of how to segregate, data cohorts, their players. And we did that by putting up some simple journeys out there, right? So as simple question as that, have you played poker before? Soon as you land on the app, right? So if you say, yes, I have, you are taking a separate poker, route on the messaging and product route. And if you say no, then it's a separate learning course that is being shown to you instead of just pitching the game directly. Yeah. Moving on, so I think also one of the things that is important is to understand that what should be the speed of execution, right? This is something that a lot of startups will keep saying amongst their teams that, be fast, jaldi karna hai sab kuch, competition hai, karna hai, chhoot jaoge piche. What we've realized over time, and I think also has helped us, is that you have to differentiate and you have to know that what will work best for you. For products, especially for product-driven companies, I think it is important that after a while, you need to slow down in rolling out product features. Product building has to be little slow, because if you keep going fast at it, you might miss on giving the best experience out there, right? So you can take your good time. I mean, when I say slow, it does not mean that, you take years, but then, plan it properly, make sure you do a lot of good user acceptance testing and then put it out. Because if you do that, if you roll out whatever you are rolling out in the best possible way and with the best experience, half job of growing that thing and, marketing that is already done, and then somewhere you have to be fast. So this space, especially, I think this piece is more for marketers, right? So, so many challenges out there, so many kind of activations that you can do, right? So what is right, what is wrong, there's no straight up answer. So how you can conclude that for you is just by experimenting. So I think you can be fast there with your A/B tests. Just make sure that, you have the right set of measurement in place and then go for it. Keep doing, keep failing, keep learning, and I think that is something that will help you out. So I think it's, again, I've just summarized this in a nutshell. It's being truly close to the customers, giving them an all-round experience, going unconventional, putting attention to detail, and speed of execution. Yeah, that's it. I thought that before I leave, I will give you guys a little playbook for you. Here it is. I'm so sorry, there's no playbook. I think in today's world, you have to have your own ways. You need to figure out stuff for you. Every brand, every category will have its own different playbooks, right? So you have to build your own playbook. So you learn, you unlearn, you learn again, right? But you do it fast, in a way. That's it. Thank you so much.